Howdy. Welcome to my shop. My name's Ron and I'll be your host for the next 10 minutes or so. Being a fourth generation carpenter, wood is that's my language. It's my living, it's my hobby, it's my passion. One of those passions is making stocks. I've never had any formal training in this. I just wanted to put a piece of wood on a gun one day, and I seemed like that'd be a pretty unique challenge, so I tried it. And been going at it ever since, but honestly, I owe a lot of my success to my customers, my friends that have suggested this or that, different ways of doing it to produce a better outcome. And so I appreciate them. I owe them a great deal. The finish that I use was suggested by a friend of mine that owns a gun shop in Georgia, a guy named Dan. I've been friends with him for many years, and I owe him for that knowledge. So I don't suggest that my way is the only way. That's just not the case. I picked up my abilities to do this from watching other people and seeing other things and then figuring out how to do that. So it's a process. Some ways are better, cleaner, faster. They require less effort. On and on it goes. And I'm open to learning new and better ways. I'm always looking for that. My grandfather used to say, never let a day go by that you don't learn something. So when I do, I'll often look up, thanks, Pop, because no matter how old you get, you still need to be learning new things. So come on in. I just use my vision and just sight it. But that looks like it's in line with, the stock is in line and agrees with the bore itself. So that's a good thing. I'm not putting any cast off in this rifle. And now I'm going to put the butt pad on. This is a Remington, a factory Remington pad, which this is a Remington rifle. And I have shaped, this is a curved pad. You can see it's got a curve to it. It's not a straight pad. Straight pads are easier to put on because you just got a straight line. Curved pads fit the shoulder better, and I think they're more pleasing to the eye. I've already done some work on this without the camera rolling, sorry about that. But I have checked for gaps with this little light right here. I look underneath it and put the light and just shine it all along that seam to see if there's any light passing through there. You want your top and bottom to be touching hard, because your screws are towards the middle, and when they push in, they're going to pull that middle in, but you don't want a gap under the edges. That's just really annoying, looks bad, catches on stuff if it's a big enough gap. Alright, I'm going to mark my screw holes. I've got a center line going down here. I'm going to mark my screw holes and drill a couple of pilot holes. You can use a screw gun for this process if you want. But these are plastic, and if you over torque them, they will shatter, or it'll either strip out the screw or crack the pad. With my hand, I can tell the pressure I'm putting on that. Now that I've got that tightened down. Now there's actually 4 screws on this pad. These Remington pads have an insert. I'm going to try the light test again. That is tight as a drum. Very good. Now this insert actually goes in the middle of that thing, and there's another pair of screws that goes in with it. It all goes together like that, and then you have Remington's logo in the middle of it. It's a pretty nice pad, really. Alright, my length of pull is supposed to be 13 3/8. I'm lining this up on the front of the trigger and coming straight back, and that is 13 and a heavy 3/8. Perfect. Now I'm going to take my bandsaw and cut off the excess. Get rid of some excess wood around these square areas. I'm going to take this down to the edge of the butt pad. Leave myself about 1/8 of an inch for sanding. Now there's a lot of ways that a person can do this. You can use a rasp, you can use a file, you can use sandpaper. You can use electric tools, sanders and grinders and this and that and the other. After many years of practicing, I've got to where I take off the excess with a bandsaw. It's faster, it's more dangerous obviously because you've got saw blades flying around, but it really gets rid of a lot of excess wood quickly. And I'm comfortable with it. I don't recommend it for everybody, depending on your skill level, obviously. And like I've said before, my way is not the only way. If you have other instruction manuals that tell you differently, I'm not arguing with them. This is just the way I do it. And so it's not my way or the highway, believe me. There's a lot of different ways to achieve good woodworking. This is just my way. You can see how much I've taken off. See the reveal around that pad? See where I've not taken off so much on the other side? See how much was there before I started? I've still got my center line. You can still see that pencil line, top and bottom. And I still refer to it, and I'm using that as a gauge of how much to take off on both sides. Probably not an OSHA approved method of using a bandsaw. But I have removed a lot of wood. You can see how thick it used to be, how thick it's not. Now I'm going to start with a disc sander. The shaping part probably is the most free form. Everybody's built different, so everybody requires different dimensions. There are 4 or 5 dimensions that are kind of critical to make the gun fit right. But part of it is looks, part of it is fit. And so if you have an idea of what you're after, then you go with that. If you don't, you can actually buy plans for a gun, stock. And I seem like I saw one on one of Midway's advertisements. You can buy plans. It's more of a mural, not a mural, but a wall hanging for just effect. But there are famous people that made stocks for years that have drawn plans, and what they do is they'll measure from the butt forward every say 1 inch, and then 6 inches, and then 12 inches, and they'll give you a cross section of what it looks like at 12 inches, a dimension, width, height, and then they'll go on up to 13, 14, 15 inches, and they'll give you a cross section and a width and a height of the size it is and the shape that it is. And you can actually buy a plan for stock. You can also look at factory stocks. If you find a factory stock that fits you and you like it, you can measure that stock. And the way you measure it is you start at the center line, which is the same line as the top of this barrel channel. The flat part is in line with the center of the bore. And when you come out, when you come back from that center line, there's a dimension that drops down to the top of this comb from here to here. The comb, the drop at the comb will be a certain dimension, and then the drop back here at the butt, which is the top of the butt, is called the heel. The bottom of the butt, the straight edge is not quite long enough to do this, the bottom of the butt down here is called the toe. So you got drop at toe, drop at heel, drop at comb, and then if this thing shifts to the right or left, if you're right-handed, it'll shift to the right. It lets your cheek sit further over in line with the bore, with the scope, and so you're not having to push your face hard against that comb. That's called cast off. If you scoot it to the right or left, that dimension, an 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch, whatever it is called cast off. And so those are your 4 basic dimensions, and length of pull from your trigger back to the shoulder. Those are your 5 basic dimensions. Anything other than that, I mean, I've seen stocks that are actually twisted. I've seen stocks that people that are left eye dominant that want to shoot a right-handed gun, I've seen these stocks off, way off. They look contorted. But they work. They fit the person. So those are your dimensions. Now, if you the thickness of your wrist, how big around this wrist is important, because some people have bigger hands than others. I don't have very big hands. I like a small wrist. I like delicate, dainty little guns, as long as it's strong enough to hold the recoil and not break. That's the main thing. You got to get them strong enough. So if you find a gun that you like, measure it. Well, thanks for choosing to spend your time here with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I'll try to post a new segment each weekend. In addition, if you'd like to read about a stock that I made and then it took a 20-foot free fall, click on the link at the bottom of this page. It's called The Broken Gun. It's a story I wrote a few years ago about my two boys. Sometimes life's hard and things get broken. Now and then we get a chance to fix them. I'm so grateful for the opportunity I had to repair this broken stock. It led to a restoration that I never could have imagined. As always, if you like this video, please click the like button and share this with your friends. Have a great day.